Now might be a really good time for you to get angry.
That's my secret, Captain. I'm always angry.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. So here's the deal. RFK was granted Secret Service protection on July 15th, just 2 days after the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. But now the White House has just pulled their protection on RFK a day after endorsing Donald Trump, leaving RFK in the cold. This seems like a move purely out of spite and seems a little short-sighted. And it's definitely not sitting well with RFK. Shout out to everybody watching. Thank you so much for watching. Drop your comments down below and smash the like button. This article recently posted by the New York Post states Secret Service has ended its protection of RFK after he publicized his suspension of the presidential campaign. Biden, 81, had instructed protective agency to provide security for Kennedy, who's 70, last month after the failed assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump. Kennedy has publicly and privately lobbied for Secret Service protection for months, citing various security scares and suggesting that political motivations were behind the delay of getting it done. At one point, Kennedy's legal team claimed to receive evidence of 34 instances of threats. And if you guys remember correctly, both JFK and Bobby Kennedy were assassinated in the 1960s. Then on Friday, RFK, a one-time independent presidential hopeful, effectively bowed out of the race, announcing that he was suspending, although not terminating, his White House bid. The environmental lawyer revealed plans to yank his name off the ballot in about 10 battleground states and also join forces and endorse Donald Trump, and joined him at the Arizona rally on Friday. Technically, Kennedy's name is still going to be left on the ballot in less competitive states, while he's widely expected to join Trump again on the campaign trail on the in the future. Law enforcement says and told the Post on Sunday that his Secret Service protection was ending after he bowed out, and the agency later confirmed that. What the heck is going on, guys? Drop it in the chat. Let me know what you got. What is going on? A rep from the Secret Service said that is correct. RFK Jr. is no longer receiving Secret Service protection. The Secret Service typically gives protection to the president, vice president, and their immediate family members, former presidents, visiting heads of state, children of former presidents until the age of 16, former first ladies, and top presidential candidates. When candidates drop out, they said that it's standard procedure for Secret Service to at least scale back protection, but not, if not, eliminate it altogether. This is crazy. Secret Service has been in hot water ever since the assassination attempt. They are in more than hot water. They are the crab that is in the boiling water that makes that little noise when you drop the crab in. They're they're in hot water over the assassination attempt against Donald Trump during the rally on July 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania. We all know that Kimberly Cheeto ended up resigning from the Secret Service as Secret Service director, and a wave of Secret Service members have recently been placed on leave. Now, multiple probes are underway into what actually transpired on July 13th, and they still haven't found any additional motives. What do you guys think about this? Drop it in the chat. Let me know. Is crap. We're going to jump into this interview on Fox News Sunday with RFK. He talks about the Biden-Harris missteps, basically pushing him out the Democratic Party and pushing him right into the arms of Donald Trump, per se, forcing a deeper alignment with RFK and Donald Trump. He talks about campaign unity with Donald Trump, how he's going to actively campaign with Donald Trump. He also hinted that potentially more Democrats will be joining Trump's campaign, forming what's going to be called a unity party to take down the Democrat elites, if you would. Let's dive into the interview with RFK on Fox News Sunday.
Is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Welcome to Fox News Sunday.
Shannon, thanks for having me.
Okay, so let's get this out of the way up front. You and President Trump not always fans of each other. He posted on social media earlier this year, he's one of the most liberal lunatics ever to run for office, a phony radical left fool whose poll numbers are terrible and getting worse. The New Yorker said just a couple of weeks ago this, in a recent text exchange, Kennedy told one person that Trump was a terrible human being, the worst president ever and barely human. He is probably a sociopath. Now, I haven't read your text, so you can speak to that, but how did you get from that position to Friday night?
Well, it became clear to me that I did not have a path to victory. 16 months of censorship, of not being able to get on any network really except for Fox. And I had, in fact, when Ross Perot ran, in the 10 months that he ran, he had 34 appearances on the networks. I had 2 appearances in 16 months. So I was blocked out from the networks. I was blocked out from the debate. I had no path to victory. President Trump had been reaching out to me. And I talked to him a few hours after the assassination attempt, and we had a long conversation by phone. I then had 2 extensive meetings, and there were issues, the broad issues that were most important to me, the ones that brought me into the campaign, which was ending the Ukraine war, ending the censorship, and protecting children's health. We're all reforming our food supply, all the things that we need to do to make our children healthy again. Those are all things that President Trump also wanted to work on. And he invited me to form a unity government. We agreed that we'd be able to continue to criticize each other on issues on which we don't agree. But these issues are so important in their way of unifying our country. We need in this country to reach a point where we love our children more than we hate each other.
It's a good unifying theme that I think a lot of people could get around. It's how we get there. That's always the devil is in the details. Have you all negotiated over or talked about a cabinet position, another position within a Trump government in exchange for your endorsement?
No, there's been no commitments. But I met with President Trump, with his family, with his closer advisors, and we just made a general commitment that we were going to work together.
What about the states where you're trying to get off of a number of swing state ballots to say, I'm going to stay on a number of state ballots, but in these swing states, I'm going to try to withdraw myself and ask my supporters, or at least you're telling them, think about supporting President Trump. Did you negotiate over which states you would try to withdraw from?
Yeah, I mean, we all knew which states they were. There basically is 10 swing states where my presence in the race would have helped Vice President Harris and would have harmed President Trump. So I'm going to get off the ballot in those states, and then we're going to stay on the ballot in 30 states. And, I'm encouraging people to vote for me in those states. Those are states where the votes, they're either all red or all blue states where their votes are not going to change the outcome of the race. But in the states where I would have been a spoiler, I'm going to get out. So it's about 10 states.
Okay, so there were reports a couple of weeks ago citing an official from your camp and also a Democratic official saying that there'd been outreach to the Harris camp as well to possibly discuss you working within the Harris administration in exchange for an endorsement of her. Is that true? And what happened with that?
I reached out to them on the same basis that I reached out to President Trump, and we actually talked to other presidential candidates, including Chase Oliver and the Libertarian Party, about figuring out ways that we could end the polarization and the hatred and the vitriol, start talking about issues. And I was welcome to listen to anything from the Democrats that they were going to do something about the war, about the Ukraine war, about the censorship, about the child health crisis, this epidemic of chronic disease that has now disabled about 60% of our kids. And when my uncle was president, Shannon, only 6% of Americans had chronic disease. Today, over 60% do. And, it's hard to find a kid today that's not been damaged by it.
Wow.
And it's coming from our food supply, from from pollution in our environment, from toxics in our environment, and mainly from corruption in our government that allows that to happen.
You've talked
Yes.
about, or there's been discussion that if you were to join the Trump administration in some health-related position, that you have real interest in dismantling things like the FDA, the CDC, NIH. You would like to see a focus away from infectious diseases to what you're talking about, more chronic diseases. Is it fair to say that you would try to dismantle some of those organizations?
No, I wouldn't dismantle them. I would change the focus, and I would end the corruption. Right now, 75% of FDA's budget is coming from pharmaceutical companies.
Wow.
That is a perverse incentive. In NIH, scientists and officials in NIH who work on drug development, who incubate drugs for the pharmaceutical company, get to collect lifetime royalties from those products. These are regulators. They're supposed to be looking for problems in those products. We have these agencies that have become sock puppets for the industries they're supposed to regulate. So they're not really interested in public health. The most profitable thing today in America is a sick child. Everybody's making money. The hospitals are making money. The pharmaceutical companies are making money. Even the insurance companies make money. And we need to end those perverse incentives. We need to get the corruption out of FDA, out of NIH, out of the CDC, and make them function as they're supposed to function, which is to protect public health and particularly children's health.
I'm going to go back to your decision from Friday. Both you and Nicole Shanahan, your running mate, have talked about how you feel like the Democrats completely mistreated you, excluded you from the process. How much of your decision Friday is about revenge or motivated by punishing Democrats in some way?
Zero. I don't act in anything in my life. I don't act out of anger or revenge or resentment. It's a bad motivation. It's like swallowing poison and hoping someone else will die. And so I don't do it. I am very pragmatic and practical, and I am focused on one thing, which is how do we restore health for our children? And that touches many, many other issues. How do we regenerate our soils in this country? How do we protect small family farmers? The incentives are all going to commodity agriculture, and that's what is feeding this chronic disease epidemic, the processed foods that are created by commodity agriculture. So we need to do all of these things at once. Protect small farmers, restore our soils, regenerative agriculture, and to get the corruption out of the federal government and make these agencies do what they were created to do, which is to protect our health and not serve the mercantile interests of the pharmaceutical companies and the processed food industry.
This decision is not without personal cost for you. Your own family went to the White House on St. Patrick's Day, took a huge picture with President Biden, made clear who they were supporting. Friday night, your siblings issued this statement. We believe in Harrison Waltz. Our brother Bobby's decision to endorse Trump today is a betrayal of the values that our father and our family hold most dear. You posted on X Friday night saying you're grateful to your amazing wife because the decision that you've made is one that she's uncomfortable with. So talk to us about the personal backlash you have to deal with in moving forward.
I mean, my family is at the center of the Democratic Party. I have 5 members of my family that are working for the Biden administration. President Biden has a bust of my father behind him at the Oval Office. He's been a family friend for many, many years. And my family I understand that they're troubled by my decisions, but, I love my family. I feel like we were raised in a milieu where we were encouraged to debate each other and debate ferociously and passionately about things, but to still love each other. So, they can, they're free to take their positions on these issues. There are many, many members of my family who are working in my campaign, who are supporting me. I have a very big family. There's a few of them that are troubled. But, I think we all need to be able to disagree with each other and still love each other.
Washington Journal has this. They say it's a double-edged sword, essentially, that it may help President Trump to pick up some of your followers if they're willing to go over there. But they warn about what you would do in his administration. They say this, RFK Jr., if he's anywhere near the healthcare or environmental agencies in a Trump administration, look out. Mr. Trump's best response is to thank RFK Jr. for his support, make no promises about the future, and by all means avoid joint campaign appearances. You've already had one. Will you have others? Will you campaign for President
Yeah,
Trump?
I'm going to be campaigning actively. I think President Trump is going to make a series of announcements about other Democrats who are joining his campaign. And you know, I want to make America healthy again, and so does President Trump.
It's huge news.
Those are objectives. You know, the Wall Street Journal may be worried about shareholder value for pharmaceutical companies, and I think, you know, I talked specifically to President Trump about that issue, and he said that he wanted to leave as his legacy healthy children, and that, you know, that that he was unconcerned about the other implications.
All right. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., thank you for your time today. We'll see you on the campaign trail then.
Very brief, impactful interview, reiterating the fact that FDA, NIH have real, and the CDC really have no interest in healthy people. And this is one of the things that RFK is adamant about. They're not interested in health. They're interested in sick kids and sick people, because sick people then get on more prescription drugs. He talks about the processed foods in our systems, and they're all backed by pharmaceutical companies. And this is one of the things that the Democratic Party does not want RFK to expose, and he's actively exposing it, particularly with the backing of Donald Trump. I look forward to future campaigns with RFK and Trump. Will the ending of Secret Service for RFK from the Biden-Harris administration backfire big time, driving him closer to Donald Trump? He said that he's going to be campaigning with Trump actively. What do you guys think about this latest twist in the RFK Trump campaign combination here? Do you think RFK's alignment with Trump will shake up the elections? I think it will, and polls are saying that it already has. Let me know your comments. Drop your comments down below. Smash the like button, share, and subscribe. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one.